And welcome everybody to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button. I'm 2 minutes early, so I beat you, Steve. You're not waiting for me, but you will be here in a moment, I'm sure. And we have different people. I've got a friend Lewis from California. It's in DC, so you can listen to the program live. But we're 8 p.m. Eastern, a couple minutes from now. On the eve of minicamp, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe Thursday. Coaches like to hold Thursday out as a possibility. The reason is, say you get really crummy weather Tuesday, Wednesday, which is not going to happen this time. It looks like 2 nice days. But if you did, then they would stay Thursday and work on some things. And, but if everything gets done Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm not sure what Dan Quinn's going to do. Hey, Steve, I need you to be first in. But if Dan Quinn feels that everything got accomplished the first 2 days, then he'll probably, he can cut him loose. But I don't know. It's his first time doing this, so we'll see what he does. I've just seen a lot of coaches, they keep that Thursday in their pocket. If they don't really need it, they tell everybody, you worked hard, I'm giving you the day off. So, and everybody's like, yay. And it was always planned that way. So, but they're going to have 6 weeks off. Training camp starts. Don't have the exact day yet. Maybe here tomorrow. But July 28th, more or less, is going to be training camp. Not as many open days for the public at training camp this year. One reason being that they're going to scrimmage or practice twice away at the Jets and at Miami before they play the preseason games, probably on Thursdays before the Saturday games. So they got to leave Wednesday. So, I mean, they won't be back probably until Monday, because after a Saturday preseason game, they usually give them off Sunday and then start back Monday. So you're going to lose a couple of days, 2 weeks in a row like that. And then by the third preseason game, camp is about over. So I don't know how many, they haven't said yet how many are open. I think we'll hear that this week too. But I would just say, if you want to come to camp, tickets, of course, are free. But jump on them, because they do limit it a little bit. And some days they limit it to whoever wants to come. But most of, there are big days, especially the weekends, that you want to grab them. Because it's just not going to be that many this year. And yeah, it is going to be in Ashburn. We haven't heard everything yet. They pulled up the artificial turf field that had been there when they opened the park in 1992. Haven't used it for any, for playing purposes. I don't know. They did it through the 90s, early 2000s. So maybe they used it for about 10 years. And then they had 3 grass fields, and they decided, well, we need a 4th grass field. And of course, it had the bubble too. They've been using the artificial turf field a lot of times to just host the tents for corporate people and stuff like that. I don't know. I didn't really see it as a big deal to now add it. I don't think it's going to win any more games for them, but whatever. That's what they like. They're doing a lot of construction at the park too, trying to expand the building. The building was created back when they had 45-man rosters. Now there's 53 plus 17 on the practice. So that's 70, in a camp, it can go up to 80 some. So they needed the room. So that's why they keep on adding. And then eventually they're going to get a new Commander's Park somewhere. I think in the next 5 years, they'll be somewhere else. Probably closer to me. And that way I won't be covering the team. Gregory asked, do you think a wild card game will reach this year? Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, right now I see 7 wins, but things change so much. I was thinking 8 or 9 before I looked at the schedule. Not the easiest of schedules, although they are flying the least miles of any NFL team this year. So they're not going to get hung out too much. They go out west once, but they're, a lot of that. I'd hate to be Kansas City. I think Kansas City plays every day but Tuesday. Good Lord. This guy's got to be, every week's got to be something weird going on. But I think this team could get a wild card, and then I don't know after that. So I guess you could say the JD5 follows the RG3. You get in the playoffs, you lose the opener, and I guess that would. I think people should be happy if they can make the playoffs this year. I think they're probably a year away. Meast asks, what do I think happens with number 2, De'Ami Brown? He doesn't see him cutting them. At this point, I don't see them cutting Diami, but I would not put it out of there because if you're not a Dan Quinn guy, which is more than half the roster, you're vulnerable because he has no ties. He has no obligations to you. He's not the guy that drafted you. And Diami, to be honest, hasn't done a whole lot to justify staying. So I could see them picking up a free agent after cuts or something, and he would be gone. That's very possible. All right, guys. Also, a programming note: next week, next Monday, will be my last show until training camp starts up again. I'm gonna take the 6 weeks break, just like the players are. That way, I come back fresh and ready to talk about the same stuff we've talked about for years. But that's why. Hi, Bob. Thanks for coming. So, if you want to, hang out like that. Last week we did a fundraiser for basically meals for school kids over the summer when they're not in school to eat, and we raised it up for 2,300 meals. I was really happy with that. So 2,300 meals, it doesn't solve hunger, but it sure as heck puts on 2,300 meals. So I thanks to everybody for that last week. This week, if you want to hit the thanks button, the money goes to me, and I'll eat all summer too. But I'm going to eat all summer anyway. But if you want to show some appreciation for it, the show, please hit the thanks button. Anything you'd like to do, and I think next week we'll do some fundraiser too. And I'm going to do them during the season, some just so people pay. All right, Father's Day is coming up next Sunday. Last time I'm talking about this. If you want to buy, I got to get it in the mail tomorrow to make sure it gets to you. You can either look for my Presidential Pours book, $15. I'll sign it, send it out tomorrow to anybody. And here, and then if you have a Redskin Commanders fan in the family, I also have this. $20. I'll sign it, send it to whomever. Just make sure when you put in the information, your address. And tell you what, if you want me to send it to your dad who lives somewhere else, put that in the address. I'll do that. So let me put that in the chat box real quick where you can get it. You can get it from me. So you can either get it from my website, monumentalthoughts.com, that talks about how to do it, or you can go straight to Venmo. Or PayPal. Let's see, what is that? Oh, yeah. I use an old address. I don't watch much anymore. Drinking. I took somebody on a presidential drinking tour the other day. It was his 21st birthday. So his family all went. It was a lot of fun. All right. Okay. Back to anything. So there you go. Beg for money, buy a book, whatever. If you want to give dad something special, we can get it to you. I'll send it out tomorrow. After that, I worry about the mail. Okay. Hi, Steve. And hi, Todd. All right, Yankees, New York, 28. Ooh, you're in the wrong channel. Do you see Washington offering McLaurin a contract extension? They did already, so not anytime soon. Not for a couple more years, I guess, on that. So a little low on people. Also, if you could hit the thumbs up button, I'd appreciate it. That makes the algorithm happy, and they send more people my way. And yeah, I've been slacking a little bit. I still put out 2 videos every day, but and this week's mini camp, so we might have 3 some days. But mini camp is from on the field from 1 to 3. Coach talks to us right before the 1 o'clock. So if you're somebody that follows things online, you'll probably see a little bit about whatever coach says. 12:45 to 1, and then I'll do the post practice videos. 3:30, 4, somewhere in there. Kind of just depends on what's going on. And that's the next couple of days, and then maybe Thursday. We'll see what happens. Weather's supposed to be halfway decent here. It's been, tolerable this year. Hasn't been too hot. Brandon, thank you so much. Appreciate it. On there, I told somebody the other day. I wrote it on Twitter. Doesn't the sun feel hotter than it used to? I mean, just when you're out in the broad sunlight, I just swear it feels hotter. And somebody said, "No, that's you getting old." And maybe it is. I don't know. I just know that it feels hotter out there. I was cutting grass today. Matt, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Oh, your dad liked the book. I'm glad to hear it. Um, it's a fun book. The presidential pours. I did every president their favorite drink, or a few that didn't drink what they drank. Like President Biden drinks Gatorade, and President Trump drank Diet Coke. So it's just kind of a fun thing that we do. Um, yeah. Oh, so let's see. Matt wants. I guess it's Matt wants to celebrate a third Super Bowl on a live stream. Well, if they make the Super Bowl, I will live stream that one out because I probably won't be at the game. I covered one live, covered a second one from DC for the Redskins days. So I've done them. A lot of fun. Got to tell you, Super Bowl, lots of fun the whole week. If the team makes it at some point, I tell you, go. It's going to cost you a fortune, but go anyway and have some fun because it is a lot of fun. There's so many events going on all week around the game. I think they often say like 300,000 people come to a Super Bowl city for the game, but only 75,000 more or less can actually get in to see the game. And I go, what are the other 200,000 doing? They just want to be around there for the events all week and the outdoor stuff, pressers and media and all that. And there's something to do. Especially some cities are better than others. I mean, to me, I would never put a Super Bowl in a cold weather city. Screw that. To me, New Orleans, Miami. Miami is like magic in January. It's so beautiful. Well, now the game's in February. Still great. I was in Miami to cover a Super Bowl. It snowed in DC. My wife's cursing me out on the phone every night. I come back, there's a foot of snow in front of my car at the airport. But man, Miami was worth it. It was awesome down there in the winter. Phoenix is a great place, for Arizona. I've never covered one in LA. New Orleans is awesome because you can walk everywhere, or stumble everywhere, whatever you're doing. New Orleans is a lot of fun. New Orleans, this whole economy, I swear, is you can get drunk in public here. And as long as you don't fight with anybody, go with God. Man, the drinks down there. So I remember I got something called a hand grenade. It's about, like this big with a hand grenade on the bottom. Man, the first sip, my mouth went numb. And they were $5 back then. But I think I drank about half of it and you could really feel it. And it was like grain alcohol or something. So we had fun around the Super Bowls. Bob wants to know, is camp outside or in the bubble? At this point, outside. But you never know with storms, but probably. Let's see, Gregory, do I expect Jaden to be very limited in pointless preseason games? That's really a good question. And Quinn has not addressed this yet. He kind of wants to leave preseason questions to the preseason and not, now. So we haven't got his thoughts on that yet. It's kind of interesting. New coach again to figure out what they want to do. Todd, today's nice in Delaware. Took a walk for almost an hour. There you go. Good for you. Yeah, it was nice. I cut grass and was outside a good bit today too myself. Jared, hello to you. San Diego's the best. San Diego's a great city, BH. Went there, cover a Redskin game, the one right before 9/11 where we got back just in time. And the team lost like 45-10 or something. They played San Diego Supercharger song till my head exploded. Okay. Jared, mid-80s in the Rockies, but even better for that. There's no humidity out there. I've been out there in 90-degree days in Denver, not sweat. I sweat here at 60 degrees. Humidity is starting to come back to DC. It'll be here real soon. Historically, because I've lived in DC all my life, I can tell you, once you hit June 15th, man, it's the humidity is here. And they say, I think Friday's going to, like the 15th is going to be like a 90-degree day. Right on time. Global warming. Ever try alligator SP? Yeah, I did in New Orleans at a Super Bowl, and I did in Jacksonville once when I was with relatives. New Orleans, the food's pretty good. They had it more like grilled, and it tastes a little bit like a fish and a chicken. Fried, it tastes like fried. They ruin everything when you fry something. Never get crab cakes fried, my friends. To me, I would put people in prison who did that. You got to get them broiled. I had my first crabs the other day. It costs too much, but I do it like 2 or 3 times a summer. Life's short. Eat a crab. Brandon went to Mardi Gras one year. Just remember people being in the streets. Yeah, I can see that. Sure. I mean, you drink a lot. And at the cops, as long as you don't get in a fight, cops pretty much let you go, run wild. And that's where they did the Girls Gone Wild videos for years, was on French Quarter there. because people are drunk. I covered a few games down there, Redskin games or whatever, and we're leaving for the airport like 6 a.m. the next morning. There's people wandering in from partying all night. I mean, it's not unusual. Jared, my father worked for a very large masonry business, and they offered him tickets, and he turned them down because he thought it was in Florida. Bummer. Okay. Joe, that game against the Chargers was ugly. Yeah, I don't remember the score offhand, but it was like 45-10 or something. Gregory, Super Bowl next year is in New Orleans. Okay, yeah, I don't keep track of that as much anymore because I'm not there. When I was there, I covered 5. I kept an eye on what it was. Let's see. Matt, after living with that Astro field for 20 years, what will they use the 4 fields for? Well, they'll all be grass on there. So that's, it's just an extra one. And Robert, I got your order. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You're my new favorite person online today. So just an extra grass one. I mean, over the course of 6 months, you can bang up fields, and that's the last thing you want is get a guy injured on a bad field. And I've seen it. I've seen a lot of injuries on fields that are just weird things. So you get an extra field, you don't beat them up as much. That's basically the bottom line. Jared, love the Girls Gone Wild videos. Well, I mean, who didn't? Maybe there's girls' fathers, so it probably didn't. Bob, do I think Sam Hartman sticks on the practice squad? Part of that would be, do they keep how many quarterbacks do they keep on the main? 2? If they keep 3, I mean, I don't think so. But if they probably keep 2, they'll keep someone on the practice squad, and that could be Sam. SP, I want to get crab cakes from Woody's in Dewey Beach. Okay, haven't been to Dewey Beach, haven't been to Woody's. I'm going to hope it's good. Best crab cakes for years around Maryland were the racetracks. I used to cover horse racing. Man, they were awesome. But Captain Billy's down in Popes Creek, Maryland. If you go down there at the end of Charles County, right before you get to Virginia, it's right where John Wilkes Booth crossed over. Captain Billy's got this thing called a jumbo crab cake for $22. That's like this. I mean, it'd be twice that price in DC. Easy. Joel, you like to move it to Channel 9, having preseason games? Well, I like Chick Hernandez. We're old friends, so I wish him well. I don't care what channel it's on, to be honest. But, if Chick's, I don't know who's doing the announcing. If it's Chick, it'd be professionally done. Chick's a great guy. Chick's one of the funniest people you ever meet. And we've known each other 30 years, something like that. Jared, preseason game against the Pats is nationally televised. That's right. That's all yours. Thanks for that. It's a home game at 8 p.m. So I can get home at 2 a.m. But you have fun. God, I hate late night preseason. A third preseason game as useless as it can get. And they got to go through that. Thanks. All right. Okay, Justin, I went to the USA soccer game at FedEx and we were outnumbered by so many Colombians in DC. The staff was joking. There's a lot more of them than us. Oh, that happens a lot. And he said, just like Redskin games. Yep. And I don't see the Redskins getting a big home advantage this year. Sorry. I think they don't play a lot of teams with big crowds. Hold on a second. Let me grab my paper on this. Here it is. Okay. If I have to fight about this. Okay. So they have their home opener. Their home opener is the Giants. There's always lots of Giants fans around here. Cleveland. Yeah, all right. You might get that one. But there's a lot of Ohio people around here too. DC's got a lot of everybody. In DC, 1 out of 5 people are actually born in the city like me. 1 out of 5 are actually born in another country. So there's as many foreigners as there are natives. And then the other 3/5 come from all over the country. So it's not too many. Arizona is the first team I saw that didn't bring a crowd in quite a while. Let's see, Carolina. Okay, look at the home edge on Carolina. Chicago probably have the home advantage there. Pittsburgh, no. Steelers will own the stadium again. Cowboys will own the stadium again. Tennessee Titans, okay, they'll probably have that one. Washington will have that one. Philly, no, won't have it. Atlanta probably will have it. So that's like 4 home games I see out of the 9 this year. So about half the time they might actually. And that's better than it's been in years. I'll say that. Okay, Gregory, could I see Josh Harris upgrading, expanding the Ashburn? Yeah, I mean they're already doing that, but it's a temporary thing. They're going to move to somewhere. That's why I'm a little surprised you put in a fourth field at this point. But when I sold my house, I painted all the walls too before I left. Painted my office that I sat in for 35 years would ever paint it, and I painted it that day after I moved out. What sense did that make? None. So yeah, I told you some things. Let's see, Bob. Seeing the artificial field torn up is very symbolic. Yeah, okay. True. The only bad thing about the artificial turf field is it was literally like at least 10 degrees hotter than the grass field. They always talk about that. And there was a day I was on it. I try to stay off it, but I was on it and I nearly fainted on a hot day there. I mean, I could see my eyes, everything starting to go, and I had to get off that field. I was afraid I was going to be laying on the ground. So it does get that much hotter. Joel, nobody like Glenn Brenner. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know Glenn personally. I mean, I was a young buck around then, but I saw him at times, and he was a funny guy. He's buried at Oak Hill Cemetery in D.C. Died in his 40s of a brain problem. I'm not sure what it was, tumor, I think. He's buried right across from Edwin Stanton, who was Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of War. Kind of weird, but yeah, you can see Glenn there. What game is that above your wife? Okay, so Matt, that is the Coalfield House last game ever. I'm one of the dots in the bottom somewhere. Yeah, I know where I'm sitting, but I can't even make myself out on that one. So I love Coalfield House. Wish they had never left. But I mean, it was a whole. We talk about it was a whole of a stadium. But it was our stadium. I love Coalfield House. I went to Maryland, so now it's part of this big training center. I mean, Maryland's gotten into the bidding wars of huge facilities, huge. So Cole's all part of that. George, the only way to own the stadium is to win. Correct. If Jane Daniels is for real, it's our only hope. Correct. You're 2-0, George, on that one. Take something off the top shelf if you like. All right. Let's see. What is it? 8:19. We're not done yet? Oh, okay. So Tuesday, Wednesday, mini camp practice. Thursday, we'll see. Maybe on that. And then everybody's off. Well, they do. Actually, coaches take off for about a month. It's the only time off for coaches pretty much. When they come back, usually a couple of weeks before the players do, to get ready and all that. They don't have a day off pretty much except by Sunday. And that's because the head coach usually bars anybody from coming in the building on the Sunday they have a bye. And that's about it. You get one day off for 6+ months. So I don't blame them for taking a month. Go do something else with your life. And players still work out. I think a lot of players take a couple weeks, go on vacation, whatever, and then they're back in the gym. Because if you don't lift the weight for 6 weeks and show up at the park, it's going to take you months to get back into that kind of shape. When you take a month off, it takes a couple months to get back to it. Bob saw a first NBA game at Cole. Yeah, when the Capitol Bullets came. Huh. Well, I watched that on TV. Matt saw Gary walking through Cole while in college. Good times. That's absolutely. Now you got kids going there. Yeah, Matt. When I went to Maryland, it was $300 a semester. Of course, I was working 2 jobs and making nothing, but it was at least I could do it. I got through college without debt. Now these poor kids have this debt. It's like 30-year loans. You should never be paying 30 years on that. Go to a community college. I did that for 2 years, and don't mortgage your future like that. I did my second 2 years at Maryland. It worked out. Gary. I covered Gary a couple times, a couple years, and man, Gary it was a strange bird, as you can guess. I mean, Gary would be so mad about whatever, and by the time we got in the locker room, man, it was like they hit the switch and it was over. I'd never seen anybody that could do something like that so dramatically, to be so mad and then it's gone. And occasionally you get mad about something now and then, and all of a sudden, man, you got a guy mad in front of you that you better be ready because he's ready. But I thought Gary was a very smart coach, game coach wise. Wasn't a big recruiter, and he got out of the game because he saw what was coming for recruiting on it. I always said if you could take Lefty's recruiting and Gary's game coaching, you'd have John Wooden. I mean, they each had their own strengths. I'm not sure if the current coach, what he is, but God, everything is so different now with these NILs and all. I don't know what to make of coaches. Wasn't happy with Maryland's season last year, but it was like 5 mercenaries came by and they're gone or whatever. I don't know what's going to happen, but and yet somebody's winning college games, so somebody knows how to do it. So that's not any different. It's just Maryland doesn't have the M Club doesn't have the money to really compete like a lot of other places. If you're going to start openly paying players, not like they weren't getting paid before, but now everything's on the table. Brandon, I love seeing Dan Quinn at the Nats game. Okay, is there? I didn't get to see Jaden's pitch. I heard it was low because they delayed the game like an hour because it didn't rain where I live, but I know the storm was coming through. I thought Jaden should have threw it. I would have had him throw a football. I was sure he could have thrown the football as a frozen rope. And I would have had a guy with a mask on and it'd be, somebody else wrote, make it Terry McLaurin catching the ball as a catcher. That'd have been cool. I thought that was a great idea. Have a little fun with it. But no, we can't have fun with things. Matt, any thought on Allen's foot injury? Doesn't seem to be a problem at this point. It did impact him last year, and he hurt it early, so he really did struggle through the year. But he seems to be fine now. Under Armour, Douglas. So Douglas, I'll tell you a story about Under Armour. I'm covering Maryland for a couple years after my heart attack in the early 2000s, and there's a corporate guy. They always, the rich guys that pay money and help the program, they get to come to practice. Ralph Regent didn't care. He brought them around. And so these guys typically talk to reporters because we're the only other guys there and we know what's going on. I hate that because I'm trying to work. My eyes never leave the field when people talk to me like that because if you do it, something's going to happen. But this guy kept saying, hey, I'm going to start an apparel company in Baltimore. And I thought, yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, we're going to be bigger than Nike. Yeah, good luck with that. It was Under Armour. It's like, oh, dude, Kevin Plank was the guy. Like, Kevin, why couldn't you convince me to, invest? I probably wouldn't have, but damn, there was a guy walking right by me with $1 million idea. Oh, well. All right, Alexander, Gary's recruiting was weird. I know the parents said that he would never meet with their kids. Yeah, he let his assistants do that. Dickerson was really good at that. Was one of them, or Patsos was good. Gary didn't do a whole lot of that. Gary's social skills on that level weren't great. I saw Gary a few years ago at a banquet. Well, not a banquet, it was a speech. And it was just he and I got there early, and we had about half an hour to talk just to kill time. And he seems pretty at peace with it. I think Gary was one of the smartest coaches I ever covered. Just in general knowledge of life, even. I mean, he knew basketball as well as anyone, but he knew about life too. And he didn't like being pigeonholed like he was some dumb coach who didn't understand the world. Gary had a chip on his shoulder a lot. It's like, Gary, you won a national title. The job is yours for as long as you want it. Let's see, George has the same feeling about our wide receiver group that I've had about our linebacker group. Do you have confidence in them? Because you got Terry and not much of else. Yeah, I agree that it's a little concerning with wide receivers. I mean, the question is, does Dotson turn out to be the first round pick you hope he would be? But you also have to give him the chances. You almost have to throw last year's offense out, as crazy as it was. So I think he still has a chance to be somebody. I think Luke McCaffrey could be a decent 3. So if the depth, I don't know what kind of depth is there. Linebackers, your first unit's okay, but your second unit, and 17 games, you got to have a lot of spares. So we'll see. Gregory, Wizards didn't hire a big name head coach. Yeah, I agree with that. But right now they're not ready to be anything per se. Although they get the number 2 pick in the draft in a couple of weeks, you'd like to think if it was Ernie, he'd say, well, there's only one guy in the world that can bounce a ball, and we got number 2, and we're going to have to develop some weird, foreigner who doesn't have a chance. Hopefully that doesn't happen this time. Hopefully there's a good number 2 there. You'd like to think. But they're still a few years away, and that's when I guess you hire that big name coach if they get there. I don't know. It's been a long time in the desert for the Wiz. Alexander, I don't think you will know the team will look like until the first regular season game. Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. And I would say really after it takes off September before you really see what you have playing a variety of opponents. But we can't wait till then. We got to talk about it now. So we talk about it now. Let's see, Matt. Hogs haven't did an analysis last year that CB was better than DE. That's a good question. I mean, I thought Fuller had a decent year. The DEs, I mean, Sweat was good for half a season and then he was gone. And then once he and Chase were gone, man, there was nothing. And then they had their backups got hurt. There was nothing at DE. So I would say that's probably a true statement. Alexander, the Wizards are still tanking because they want Cooper Flag next year. Oh, God. Don't tell me that. That means I can't watch anymore next year either. I'm getting old. I don't have a lot of years left. The other day was the anniversary of the 78 team that won. And God, it just makes you think how long that's been. 1978, I just graduated high school. I had hair down to my shoulders. A few things have happened since then. All right, Hickory Hound. The wide receiver group is way better than we saw in 2020. And there was a bad quarterback situation. Washington stuck in the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, listen, if Jaden Daniels gets the time to throw and is what people hope he will be, this will be a decent team. You need some chemistry issues. You got a lot of new players together, and you got a new coaching staff, and all that kind of thing takes time to gel out. And it takes a year or so. So I don't know. I think this year will be better. It has to be better than last year. My God, 4 wins. But 4 wins and walking through the dead. I'm hoping it's not 20-0 when the other team leading in the second quarter. That would be kind of nice for once. Play competitive games. So I think it'd be better. They won't. But if your goal is a Super Bowl or bust, it's it's not going to be the year. But you got to take steps toward it. Gregory, you expect Jonathan Allen stays? Yeah, I mean Jonathan Allen's. He was upset last year, and they talked him off the ledge and just said, hey, we love you. You're a big part of this. Stay here. So, the end of that. Alexander, is the Commanders going to pick up any camp cuts in free agency? Probably, but you don't. There you're dickering with somebody else's discards. It's not like there's Pro Bowlers being cut because that kind of day is over with. The salary cap and how they do things is not like the old days where you would get somebody with a name being cut at the end of training camp. That doesn't happen much anymore. So you just kind of, honestly, you're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic with these guys. Lewis, I forgot. Lewis wanted me to put his question out there. And Lewis says, from what I saw last year and through training camp this year, if you were the coach of the team, how would you play Jamin Davis and Emmanuel Forbes right now? Well, I mean, first off, you're saying I got to wait till training camp to how would I do them, but yet I got to say it now. Okay, so I say Jamin Davis plays on the edge, probably half his snaps as a pass rusher, and I think he's probably better at that. I know he's better than that than trying to cover a linebacker or a tight end coming out for a catch. So I wouldn't have a problem doing that, playing him a lot more up to the line. Manuel Forbes, I mean, what coverage are you going to put him in? If you're going to let him play zone more where he's better, then I think you just keep him where he is. It's too soon to give up on him yet. All right, so there you go, Lewis. Will the new stadium be at RFK and they change the name to Redskins? Matt, no. JK is your favorite year. What was my favorite year covering the team? Well, 91 was cool. That's been a long time. 99 I liked a lot. That was Brad Johnson's year. They made the playoffs. That was a fun crew. I enjoyed them. Okay, but I don't know if they're going to RFK. I looked at the U.S. Senate calendar the other day. They basically have a couple weeks. They probably have like 7-8 days left in June. They have, I think, 12 days in July. Then the Senate goes on recess from early August to after Labor Day when they're back for 3 weeks. And then they're out of session until the election out there campaigning. So there aren't a lot of days left to address this bill in the Senate for RFK. Most of those days are meant for things that got to be done. I don't know if there's a budget issue that's going to be hitting us to fund the government, that kind of nonsense. But they don't like to do anything in September, especially because of the election cycles. So I really think that whole thing is kicked the can back to next spring, and we'll see who controls the Senate and what they have to say about things. So I don't like that at all. I think that really gives the stadium chances in Maryland much more, because Maryland can use this time to sweeten the deal. And I know everybody doesn't want to stay in Landover, but that's a different argument about things. That's just kind of where I see where things stand. Brandon, Washington needs help at left tackle. Do you think there's a chance they could bring back Charles Leno? No, Charles is recovering from hip surgery, and I don't think he's going to play this year. If he does, he would play after midseason. So I don't see that. But having said that, let's just say all three guys they have at left tackle are hurt, and then sure, maybe you bring him. You can never say never, but unlikely. Bernie, number of win predictions. Right now, I'm going to have 7 and 10, but I think they have a shot to win a couple more. Daniel, let's see. Oh, good to see you, Daniel. Can the season hurry up? Okay, let me get my magic ball. Hold on a second. Magic ball. We'll just hit the bell one time, Daniel, and it'll be August 3rd. Ready? Ooh, it's hot today here in August. Sorry. How about them Boston Celtics? Yeah, giving up 2-0. I was kind of wanting to see Dallas. I'm a Mark Cuban guy. I like him. Alexander says Jamin and Forbes have been big disappointments. Absolutely. Tell me who Ron drafted that isn't one. Steve, thank you so much for contributing. I do appreciate it and all that. Gosh, I forgot I was going to say something else. I don't know if anybody watched the Belmont. I was awful on that one. Okay, Honest Brute. Opinion needed. Is the Capitol Wheel a lame place to propose? Thinking of doing it this weekend. I wouldn't do it there, but that's me. If you're happy with it, I mean, the view isn't anything great on it. It's almost, and I'm okay with cliches to do it. Listen, I proposed sitting in my car with my girlfriend. We were going to a college dance, and I know she wanted to show the ring to her friends, and she knew where I was going to ask her, and so it was at Christmas time, and so I have no standing about great places to propose. We're still married 43 years later, but whatever. So you propose where you think, and hope I don't have a problem doing it on the stadium jumbotrons, but I know people who do. But listen, if you want to go do it, you go do it. You be you. And next week, come back and tell me if she said yes or not, or if she didn't, don't come back. But the Capitol Wheel, it's okay, but it's not a grand thing. It's not. They like to say it's like the London Eye. No, it's not even close to that. Hickory Hound, not expecting playoffs, but Dan was 8-8, 11-5, and 10-6 in Atlanta. Yeah, so expect to be competitive. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he had 3 good years, and they had a bad year, and they said, "See ya." And really, man, talk about impatience. And also, just also asked a record. Everybody kind of comes in 15-minute cycles on the show. So if I repeat questions, it's okay because most people have not heard it before. Most of you come in for about 15 minutes, say he's adult, and go watch something else. And 15 minutes is good on YouTube. The average person watches 7 to 8 minutes on a show. You guys are longer. So I'm saying 7 to 10. Outlaw King. Who is the new front office guy the Commanders just hired? It's going to be a guy from player development they got from Houston. Don't know him personally. And everybody is a vice president, director of something or other. They got to give everybody a title. They just make stuff up. Here, you're the title of this. So I don't go by titles much, unless you're team president or something like that. That's an important hire. Okay, Gregory. Do you think going in Josh Harris bid, he knew he had, okay, let me try again. Greg said, did Josh Harris understand how bad Dan Snider left this team? Probably not. I saw somebody was conjecturing, it might have been RG3, but I'm not sure if it was him, conjecturing that Snider named the team Commanders because he hated it and he just wanted to throw the stink on it at the end. I don't know about that. But don't miss the guy. That's for sure. Matt, keep thinking of Ron comment about if you win a championship with the team that you built, Adam arrives and turns the roster over. Yeah, so Ron, you're not getting a ring off this team if it wins the Super Bowl this year because hardly any of your guys are going to be here. This, as I've said, you've heard me say it before. I went back and looked at roster turnovers. George Allen's first year was 35%. Everybody thought that was a lot. You got to go back to World War II, 1945, to see a 60% turnover because guys came back from the war and all that. And now it's probably about what it's going to be this year, 60%, maybe a little more. Meest, team therapist for the players. They used to have one. I don't know if they have one right now or not. They did, and I actually saw her work, and I thought she did a good job with helping players. Got to remember, players. A lot of these guys are in their early 20s. Suddenly, got all this money. They're living in a strange city. They probably don't have any family or friends with them, so they don't know who to trust. It can get even lonely at times. I have helped many a rookie understand his first paycheck and explaining what FICA was and these kind of things because they never had jobs. So that's how they all lose their money. They trust people that are out there to get their money. It's sad what happens. So a team therapist is not a bad thing. I mean, I remember one player. I happened to be at the next table, so I heard things, and the player was talking to the therapist about he had his. I think it was his sister's 4 kids. Something happened to her, and he had to raise them. And he had 4 young kids, and he's in his 20s himself, playing for the team. And he was asking her help about what he should do. Absolutely, this woman helped this guy. So, these guys are not just, they don't go in a box all day after practice. They're real people with real problems. And more money, more problems, as they say. There's a lot of truth in that. LimeWire's in here. Okay, born in DC. There you go. Meest, Ron was praying that Sam Howell would help his reputation. Well, sure, everybody's praying. Quarterbacks get coaches hired and fired. Really do. Do you think Sam Hartman makes the team? Asked Matthew. I don't think he makes the active roster. He's got a shot at the practice squad on there. I have to say, I haven't been overly impressed with his arm on there yet. It's been okay. I've seen worse guys, but I don't. In the days of 2 quarterbacks on active rosters, pretty much now because you have the practice squad to call up a third guy in emergency, and now you can even have him ready in emergency status on the sideline. They just don't hold on to him as much. CJ Stroud spoke highly of a new hire, says Meest. Yeah, I saw that. Okay. I don't know CJ either, but I'm, sometimes just, how many times I've had friends say, hey, man, if they call you about this job for me, can you speak, well of me? And I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know, you're a jerk. Okay. I don't want to be the jerk and not let you get the, not get the job. So I'll try and talk you up if I can. That's how this works. Hickory Hound, no teams stay together because of free agency. Yeah, I mean, look at Kansas City, 3 players left, as you say, from their first Super Bowl, and a few years later they're playing for the third. That was pretty amazing, because a lot of times people like to talk about Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls with 3 quarterbacks, and true. And I'm not underplaying that, but he had the same hog line for all 3. That's the key to those championships. Did I hear if Chase showed up for OTAs, Steve? I know he didn't in the beginning, unless he showed up lately. But he had an injury thing going on, surgery. So he wasn't, just blowing everything off. Better not, or he ain't going to last much longer in the league. LimeWire, what's the next most important date we should have on our calendar? Around July 28th. That's about when training camp starts. Was it August? August 10th is the first game. So that's the Jets. So there you go. That's the only 2 you need now. Let's see. Me said, made it pretty clear his days were numbered, made a comment about how Sam ends up our quarterback and people should give him credit for. All right, Meest, I give you credit on that one. That was Ron saying if Howell works out, it's on him. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. You picked him. Daniel, do you think Jaden Daniels and Scary Terry could be like RG3 and Pierre Garcon? I don't think quite to that level. I think the ball will be spread out a little bit more. Pierre was like the head and shoulders guy. So I don't know about that. Brandon, Chase is out for the season. Is he out for the season now? I didn't hear that, Brandon. I know he was not expected back until sometime training camp, but I don't keep up with a whole lot of Chase news all the time. So, all right. So we're 8:42 in. All right. So I'll do my thing again because most of you weren't watching a half hour ago. If you want to follow us, Dave President, Presidential Pours is 15s about every president and what they used to drink. Give it to your dad. He'll love it. It's a lot of pictures and fun. Something different. Don't give him a shirt or a tie. Give him this 15. I'll sign it, mail it tomorrow. We got to do it tomorrow. So the mail to come. $20, the Commanders fans book, 300 some pages. Mostly it's Redskins, about 95% Redskins. Had to change the name. Publisher maybe change the name on there. And if you would like to, or you can go to monumentalthoughts.com and order it. Let me put that on there. It is my tour guide site. Make sure you add your address. And here's the Venmo. And PayPal, my old AOL. I don't really do anything with it anymore, so don't send anything to it. There you go, put it on there. So if you'd like to order a book on it, if you'd like to contribute to the show, that $sign below the screen here on YouTube is the best way. And I do appreciate all of that. It shows that I'm not wasting an hour on people who don't care. There's a new thing called buymeabeer.com. I looked at it, had mixed reviews, so I'm not doing it, but it's kind of cool. I know I said we were going to try and do a pizza meetup at some point. Every time I try to do it, something happens. So I'm kind of sitting on my hands for a while. I'm finally healthy again after about 6 months of problems that turned out to be a medication reaction. Damn doctors. So now I feel good. So for the age I am, when you get old, something always hurts. But I'll be at camp, and now training camp, they even have a press tent by the field where I can sit down. Man, that's awesome. Got to tell you, after standing on the sidelines for 3 hours, your feet my feet and legs start to hurt after 3 hours. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Might be my last year, not sure. I've been saying that for a few years. Okay, Meast. JD will make us quickly forget about Sam. I have a feeling that's true. At least we better hope it's true, or else you wasted a first-round pick. Don't know anything about what you're asking about, Matt. So, do you don't know the answer to that? Okay, so we got about 15 minutes to go. Okay. Remember, for those of you that weren't with me earlier, I'm doing the show again next Monday, 8 to 9 Eastern, and then I'm taking a 6-week break, something like that. I'll probably come back the Monday camp starts, whatever week that is, late 20s in July. So maybe I got 5 weeks off, something like that. And last year I did 25 weeks, missed one, had COVID, went to the Kennedy Center and got COVID. Luckily for me, COVID wasn't a big deal, but my wife had pneumonia and took her 2 months to shake it off. So it was person to person on that kind of stuff. So I'll do, I pretty much do it every week once we get going. So I'm going to take a few weeks off and enjoy things. And let's see what else. So next Monday is the last one. Of course, we do the videos every day. I pretty much do that. I'm not going on vacation until September, which actually there's a week I can fit in around the team. And going to Vegas, baby, make some money. Next year, we'll see. Next year, I really want to travel more. So I'm not sure where. I keep saying every year, I don't know how long I'm going to keep covering this team. I'm the longest sports writer in DC at 46 years, but the bell tolls for all of us eventually. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. And Gregory, do you know if Snider is still paying who? I don't know who you're talking about. Marcel. Ooh, my dad's name was Marcel. He hated it too. Is the team looking to build a new practice facility? Yes. And I think in the next few years that will be done. Brian, Pepe's Pizza in Alexandria. Tried it yet? No, have not. Look, actually, gonna I've narrowed down in Alexandria to two places I'm going to try. I asked my cousin that lives there which one we should do because I'll get several of my cousins. I have about 10 cousins in Washington area. We try to get together once in a blue moon. So I'm going to try and make the next one cousins coming and eat pizza. So we'll do that next month. Let's see. Matt D. Green said he could help Forbes out. I was standing right next to him when he said that. This year, I read a report that Stammer still reached out to D. Green. Okay. I mean, Daryl will if he can. Daryl's a busy guy. Um, yeah, Daryl was there showing us like on a video things like how Forbes was lined up, what he felt improperly, and all that. So, but sometimes coaches don't like outsiders talking, telling them stuff. I mean, how many great players become great coaches? Not a lot. It's God-given ability. I mean, Ted Williams, I don't think he really was very good at teaching people how to hit, and he was one of the greatest. Kind of strange. Meese, got to try the Indian pizza from Wise Guys. Indian pizza, okay. Normally, I like my pizza simple, but man, it's good. All right, I there's this place called Pizza Hotline down here in Charlotte Hall, and also La Plata. They make really good pizza too. I used to like Lido's, and I've really lost my taste for Lido's after all these years. It doesn't have any substance. It's so thin. I used to love it, but now I eat it once in a blue moon. It's hard to find good pizza anymore. It really is, and it's sad. It doesn't have to be that way. But all these chains and all this stuff, and the individual pizza parlors are being squeezed out. It's hard to find good pizza places. So I'll continue to look. Should be able to do something with. I haven't done a good food one in a while. I have to do one. Andy's is expensive, but really good. Yeah, Meast. Yeah, I did an Andy's video a couple weeks ago. I tried a piece, and I thought it was good. Was it? They say it's the best pizza in town. I don't know how you rate what's the best pizza in town, to be honest. But Andy's was very good. Did I hear the angels sing as I bit into it? Not quite, but it was good. You know, I always say, trying to eat something if the angels sing, then I'm happy. All right, Brian, can't do Pizza Hotline. Why not? You're in Hughesville. It's not that far. From Hughesville to Charlotte Hall is, well, should be 10 minutes, but most people drive it in 5. People drive fast down here. Meese, got to get a full pie to really review it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to knock off the guy on who does one bite, and then he says everybody knows the rules, one bite, and then he takes 2 or 3. I kind of like, and then he rates them on a number, and that, I don't want to the barstool guy. I don't want to steal his thing like that. But I've been doing pizza stuff a long time too. I don't think you have to eat a whole pie. The other day, they were ordering pizza, and they said, "What do you want?" I said, I could go for a pineapple and ham. And for all of you go, ooh. But I eat it about once a year just to do something different. And they wouldn't order it. So I ended up eating pepperoni or something. My grandson wouldn't share it. So let's see. Can't review a reheated slice. I agree with that. And I don't like pizza cold either. I know some people do. It's strange. Gregory, do you still think next year they move training camp out of town? I never said they were going to do that. I never said that at all. I don't think they move training camp out of town. Again, I think it stays in DC forever. And they'll be at the practice facilities, wherever that is, and new stadium and all that. I don't see them ever leaving. I mean, the Richmond thing was a disaster for the city. So, Steve, anchovies? No. Vegetables on my pizza? No. Well, maybe a green pepper once in a while. What is my favorite sandwich, Brandon? I like a turkey club. I eat plainly. I don't eat all this weird stuff. Turkey club is good. One of my favorite restaurants is Cheddar's. If anybody's been to that, they have one in Brandywine. Cheddar's is really good. A lot of good simple food. I like simple. I don't eat weird, exotic stuff that much. And that's one reason why I don't weigh what I once did. But also staying away from fast food. I eat at a fast food place once every couple of weeks if I'm kind of cornered on my schedule wherever. I managed to kind of break that habit, luckily. All right, what we got? 10 minutes. Okay. So if you want to hit the $ button, great. If you want to buy a book, great. If you don't want to spend any money at all, hit the thumbs up button for me. That'll make the algorithm happy, and YouTube people will be nicer to me. If you can't even hit the thumbs up button, log off. How about that? Okay. Yeah, Brian, I agree with you. Fast food, man, it's like $15, to get a burger and fries. Whoa, I know what happened there. The people working there now make $15 an hour. Somebody's got to pay for it. It's us. It's always us. Um, me, Rick just wants to end this. Yeah. Okay. What can I say? Okay. So Matt's bought both books and thinks they're great. There you go. That's why I like Matt. And I work on audio tours, and I'll have to talk about that another day. But I do have some audio tours around DC. And of course, I'm a tour guide, so I've had lots of people lately who watch the show come to DC, and I take them around. We just did a Lincoln assassination tour the other day. So if you go to monumentalthoughts.com, you can see all the tours I give, or I can kind of give whatever you want. I've been a tour guide for 15 years because I kind of saw media having real problems years ago, and I think better have a plan B, make some money. And tour guiding pays well. Tour guiding's a good job, as long as it ain't raining on you. So thank God I went into that some too, and good for my health and all that. So, and so if you want to go on tour in DC, if you're coming to our nation's capital out there, or if you live here and want to see something different, we'll do it. Hickory Hound. So if you want to buy with PayPal directly, you use my address. There it is on there. That's where you put the money to PayPal, and you put in there which book and how to, that kind of thing. If that doesn't work for you, let me know. Meese, you've been paying attention to that other league? No, I have not. Kickers? No, I don't care. No, wide receiver? No. I have been watching spring football. I like to have a life outside of things. So I've watched the spring league and I just go, it's not very good. I'm used to watching the NFL. So I don't really watch college ball much either because I'm so busy for stuff. Yeah, Meese, I know they need a kicker. They may get a kicker in August. To me, the opening day kicker will be picked up somewhere in August, off someone else's roster. Yeah. That's what happens when you cut grass for hours. So they'll, you let this guy take a shot. I'll see him at practice this week. They usually kick a few field goals during practice. So I like this new kickoff rule. I actually saw them practicing it, how to do it. It's interesting. I'll say that. Is it going to, I think it's the first month or two of the season. I think this new kickoff thing the smart people will be able to really take advantage of it. But by mid-season, I think everybody figures out how to jam the field and it turns into nothing. And a lot of teams will just kick off and give you the ball in the 30. I have a feeling, and it's a different skill set that they're doing very much. And they even talk about receivers or running backs, maybe returners, because they have that skill set of breaking through traffic, because everything's really crowded really quickly. You don't get a 5-10 yard head start or whatever. You got to be able to. It's almost like being a punt returner in a way. Brandon, biggest position of need right now. I don't. Well, I mean, left tackle and all that, of course, but I think they've got depth at a lot of places. If there was a stud, I mean, if you're getting if you're getting the greatest player ever, what position would you want him to play for this team? Yeah, they could use a tight end that's standing out. They could use a defensive end. They could use a left tackle. Those are certainly things there. So me says, yeah, DQ's really involved. I mean, a special teams coach was talking about these new kickoffs. He says it preoccupied my thoughts the entire offseason. Couldn't ever relax because he was always thinking about how to make this work. Well, there you go. That's how you win games. It kind of sucks for life that you can't enjoy your off time, but You picked the job, not me. All right, 5 minutes to go. Anybody wants to throw me money, I appreciate it, but I know none of you will. So we won't even talk about it. Hit the thumbs up button. That'll make everybody happy on the algorithm. Hickory, better idea for kickoffs is no tee and make the teams punt the ball, like after safeties. I don't think it's going to be a lot different than that. That's kind of because I mean the players are, you know, so close together on the two lines that there's no crashing and hitting. That's what they're trying to do is cut down on these injuries. It's kind of hard to get any momentum going because you're already scrumming on that. It's who can move who can do a misdirection, move their blockers so that they may bring offensive linemen into the middle who can pull, and suddenly you can create a hole right there. And if you got a guy that's good at running through close competition, that's why running back might be the guy you really want. It makes I'll say it makes it more interesting than I thought it would be. First, when I heard all this, I thought, I don't know what that is. But once I saw it, I said, okay, now I get it on there. All right, last questions. And like I said, next Monday, we're back for another show and then done. If you've missed the show and want to see some of the earlier part, well, I feel sorry for you. But if you do want to do that, we are, once I hang up, YouTube flips it and it's back on from the start in a few minutes. So you can watch it there. Videos at 6 a.m. and dinner time, roughly on the other one every day. I was in my garden the other day. You could see what I was growing on something. Yeah, the off season, this time of year, I do some weirder stuff on things just to do it. I mean, there's not a lot of Commanders news coming after this week. So who knows? If I was smart, I'd take a break, but whatever. Yeah, my grandson says I don't have enough subscribers. Mr. Beast is killing me. So, punk kid. And we're done. So, all right, looks like you guys are out of questions too. I'm out of time. So, thank you all so much. Man, I'm amazed you doing that. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. And even if you watch it. And Brandon, thank you so much. Me too. Thank you everybody for coming. And killed another Monday night for you guys. I'm gonna go watch something else on TV for once. And we're done. So I'm Rick Snider. Yeah, I still got the bell. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thanks for coming. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.